It's not enough to just hide behind technology. Having real conversations with your clients, engaging them, digging deeper, understanding who they are and what they want, that goes a long way toward keeping top of mind awareness and doing the best job you can for your clients. God, I'll never get used to the sound of my own voice. Honestly, I will never get used to that.
I like it. I think
Yeah, you like it. Thank goodness, but I just can't stand it. All right, so interesting sort of set of developments lately, right? The government is starting to try and do something besides manipulate interest rates to help housing, help the housing market. California has a new law proposed in committee that targets property flippers or anybody that would sell a house maybe within a year, outlawing that or charging a 25% tax on the profit. Canada has targeted foreign investors with a similar law targeting investment from foreign entities, right? And what else did we see? We saw, you sent me this stuff.
Yeah, I sent you a bunch of things. They are also in Canada targeting home flippers. It does seem like they're angled more towards um, corporations.
Yes.
Not so much, the people who do a few houses a year. I mean, we already have the capital gains at 18 months, right? Yeah.
12 or 18 months. Talk to your CPA. We don't give financial advice.
I think it's 18 months.
Yeah, could be.
But the bottom line is, everybody just talks about, inventory shortage. There's an affordable housing crisis that doesn't seem to get spoken about.
Yeah, so this is what nobody wants to talk about, right? The elephant in the room is what you just named, the elephant in the room. There is no affordable housing, and I'm not talking about the projects. I'm talking about a raised ranch where Ken and Barbie, the cop and the nurse, can buy a house, perhaps pay their mortgage less than rent, and, have a yard and send their kids to the local school and do what their parents and grandparents did.
Well, and that's the other side of this, is that renting is no longer affordable. So you don't have affordable housing that you can purchase, and then renting is not that option anymore where it's affordable. And that a lot of that is driven by corporations. There's some really mega companies out there that bought up rentals big time.
Right. So there's two things, right? Thing number one, if we want to sound like Dr. Seuss, is the corporations who have inextricably altered the real estate market. Because, like, for example, even when the bad news, when it doesn't go well for the corporations, Zillow disclosed that they were dumping 7,000 properties Q4 last year. 7,000. They had bought 7,000 properties. That's a lot of corporate-owned homes. And that's just Zillow. Then when you get into Open Door, Doorbell, Door Knockers. Oh, that's a different website. But
when Zillow did that mass exodus from the home buying, they sold the properties, but they didn't put them out onto the market. A corporation bought those properties, and they have yet to hit the market.
Exactly. They could have, Rich Barton, just listed all those properties with all of their partners, their agent partners, and just sold them. But now they wanted to hit whatever earnings call in Q1 and just pull the Band-Aid off. So some other company bought them for a song, and that company's like, thank you very much, Zillow. But you multiply this by 5 or 6, right? Because there's so many venture capital backed entities that are
and I think, go ahead. Yeah.
buying the properties, right?
I think Canada is looking into laws that prevent that. That like if you're not going to sleep there, they're going to prohibit you purchasing.
You see, that's difficult because, you know, real estate is one of the few industries, as Anthony Lamacchia put it, a guy with a pickup truck and a flip phone can get into and build generational wealth with. And that's not right either. So a guy who runs a landscaping company, a guy who is a roofer, a blue collar, salt of the earth, regular guy who will scoop up possibly future blighted property, fix it up, put it back on the tax roll with an owner occupant, that guy is now the collateral damage of these laws. If you want to pass a law that, like, a Chinese entity can't buy 10 or more properties, fine. But when you shut out the regular guy, this is what drives me insane. And again, if you're going to start writing laws, write laws. How about you write laws that will incentivize new construction? I'll fix California.
Thank you. Yeah. How about some of these? I'm sorry, but some of these municipalities, get your head out of your ass. There, I said it. You're literally hindering. I mean, in Putnam County, they're hindering any kind of cluster development, which is like a moot point because there's so little land that can be developed because of watershed districts. Yeah. So, you know, so why are we turning down condo complexes? Why are we turning down, why are co-ops such a not a good thing? They're affordable home ownership. Louisiana in New Orleans, one of the ways they made their way back after the hurricane is they allowed properties to be divided up into condos, right? Yeah. Because it became more affordable and it allowed people to either sell off part of their houses and make up for some of their whatever losses, but also allowed more people to invest in that area and become homeowners and live there. And here we are worried about density, and I get it, but there's a balance. And in a place like Putnam County where I live, really, guys, come on.
Well, let's take the case, all right, that perhaps urban sprawl, all right, there's always a move outward a few more towns, right? So urban sprawl is one of the, you know, high density, urban sprawl, these are concerns, okay? But this scattering of, for example, the people that I graduated high school all across the country, because New York is no longer affordable, I think people would be willing to skip over northern Westchester and Putnam and move to Dutchess if at some point there were municipalities that allowed sane development. But if you go to Dutchess County, which is only, you know, some of it is in the Carmel School District, right? What are they building? They're building these ego McMansion subdivisions, 5,000 square foot homes, right? Why can't you build townhouses? Why can't you build
or 1,500 square foot ranch with a basement that you can put in recreation space in, and or I hate basements, so maybe not the basement, but with a 2-car garage with some space above the garage. I mean, there's all kinds of options. I don't even know anybody that really wants these big houses anymore unless they're living with extended family. People have simplified.
Levittown, okay? They did not build all the New York suburbs with McMansions. They built 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath ranches and Cape Cods with attics that you could finish off, basements that you could finish off, raised ranches. We lost our soul sometime in the 90s where anything under 2,500 square feet stopped being a viable option. And perhaps, you know, the cost of land made it a necessity, but this is where government assistance. This is where laws need to be changed. If your zoning only allows 5,000 square foot houses on 2-acre lots, you're the problem. It's not the developers that you're demonizing. You're the problem. And I've said this to you before on prior broadcasts. I'll say it again. I remember being in the home of a guy who was a Yorktown town trustee. And he looked at me with a straight face and he said, "Do you know that downtown Mohegan Lake has the same population density as Cincinnati, Ohio?" And I remember looking at him thinking, is that supposed to be some sort of emphatic point? Like, do you think of Cincinnati when you think of like urban anything? Like, I think of Johnny Bench. I think of a city.
I think of the radio show.
Yeah, I think of Turkeys Can't Fly. And thank God for spell check, because I can't spell Cincinnati. Thank God Cincinnati's not in Massachusetts, because I would never be able to spell that. I need spell check to spell Cincinnati and Massachusetts. But, you know, so what that the population density is the same as that city, Cincinnati? So
you didn't
what?
learn M-A, hunchback. I think I got the wrong state.
Yeah, you don't even. Yeah, I just. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Cincinnati, you know, thank God Massachusetts got towns like, you know, Revere and Walpole and Newton. I mean, I can spell these towns, right? But, you know, if I didn't live in Ossining, right? So they're anti-development. They will not change the laws to allow townhomes, affordable properties. Ossining had a whole bunch of, it's like God cast a bunch of condo seeds in the 80s, and there's all these developments in the town of Ossining that are townhome style condos. Great stuff. There's affordable style housing, but you can't get in because no one's selling. No one's selling. Why? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? There's no place for them to go. There's no place for them to downsize to, and there's no place for them to move up to, because to move up, you're going to have to buy $1 million place. And the surrounding municipalities, Newcastle, Cortland Manor, Mount Pleasant, are not building higher density middle class housing. I'm not talking about public housing projects. I'm not talking about, you know, drug dealers on your corners.
I'm talking about a place that our children would live in when they graduate college, or when they, you know, find their career of choice, maybe with or without college, that they could settle down and not have to live in our basement. We I guess millennials are grown now. What's the next age under millennials? Gen Z, Olivia's generation. We criticize them for many of them still being home. How can they afford to leave home?
Yeah, where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? You and I are old enough to remember that there was a time where you could have a high school degree and no college, have a stay-at-home spouse, and raise a family of 5, and have like an okay lifestyle. Own your own home,
a vacation or two,
take a vacation or two, maybe have, possibly if you did things right, a trailer up at Lake George or something like that. That doesn't happen anymore. That does not have. We've been priced and taxed out of affordability around here, and the government is passing a bunch of stupid laws. Yes,
including rentals.
And they're passing dumb shit laws that put a Band-Aid on the problem instead of fixing the problem, which is zoning. Your zoning is fucked up.
Yeah, like it's okay to have accessory apartments. It's okay to allow 2 families. It's okay to have 3 family, 4 families. It does not ruin a neighborhood. You know, as long as it's done within the boundaries of the neighborhood. You know,
if there's parking, whatever, but they're not helping their cause, because the first thing they do when they build new housing, and I see this in Ossining, is every time they build what's considered more affordable housing or rentals, people are screaming about, well, the schools are getting overcrowded. And that is because the surrounding municipalities are not doing their share also, right? So if you're this little island in the middle of Westchester suburbia that is doing right by affordable housing, but the surrounding areas aren't going to respond in kind, then what you're going to have is you're going to be where all the people go. You're going to be where all the people cling to, and the surrounding places are going to be looked at as shielded from urban sprawl and unnecessarily high population density. And that's just wrong. Everybody's got to do their fair share. So what does Chappaqua do? Chappaqua shoehorns like, a few units right next to the train tracks, right? I don't know whatever became of those, right? But it's not enough. It's not enough. There's old like parks. There's old camps. They could be 55 and over housing. They are causing encumbrances to sensible development to keep this idyllic subdivision thing going. It's killing the tax base. It is destroying anybody's chance at affordable housing. And then look at this. Chinese national buying a lot of condos in New York City and just holding on to them.
Holding on to them. That's the problem.
They like don't it's even precious metal.
They don't even, there could be a balance here. Put them on open market. Allow them to be rentals.
Well, yeah, they're not gonna allow that. And then there's a whole other Pandora's boxes. If 50% of them become rentals, then you can't get conventional financing. But there's this grand conspiracy, and it's not conscious, but it's just the end result, where the zoning laws and the banking laws all end up conspiring to create an unsustainable situation for affordable housing. All right.
Yeah.
And that is a significant problem. So New York City solved it by, if you can't build out, you build up. We have to build more dense housing, but affordable housing, common areas. Who's the guy that we went to the happy hour in Somers? He built all of those townhomes. What a brilliant move. What a brilliant move. He put in those row homes with green area and ample parking, lots of amenities. I think the place we looked at was a 3-bedroom, could have been a 4-bedroom if you used the downstairs den or whatever. When the bubble bursts, it will make homes more affordable, or will they remain out of reach? I think it'll be a little bit of both. I think what's going to happen is there's a lot of vulture funds waiting for the next crash that will buy up the homes that are in the crater, and they'll hold on to them the way the Chinese are holding on to the New York City condos, and then they will attempt to flip them. Some things will be more affordable, but you need help. Back in 2008, 2009, I was still working with buyers, had an FHA buyer, and he kept getting outbid. Even in the dead market, he kept getting outbid on the affordable homes by cash investors. He was going FHA, and the bank who was selling the home would rather deal with a cash buyer than someone who was using a mortgage, their product. They wanted someone who was using cash, not something they sell, instead of a mortgage. That was part of the problem. So what's the Fannie Mae program? Where the first 2 weeks it's only for owner occupants. Home something. I forgot what it's called. But it's such a great idea.
Home Path.
FHA, HUD and FHA do a similar thing. They will, the first time a distressed property is put on the market, it is on the market for 2 weeks only to owner occupants. That is one of the paths out. Changing zoning laws to more affordable homes is also a part of the thing, and stop only approving subdivisions with 5,000 square foot McMansions on 2-acre lots. We got enough of those.
But that open house we went to, you got to remember they're $700,000 condos.
That's because there are so few of them, though. If we could get sensible development as a trend and not like a teeny tiny little shoehorned little thing in one
Right.
little enclave, then the law of supply demand would take charge.
Well, and you can still have green space. You can still. I would it makes more sense that if you have smaller development on smaller lots, and then you require more open space, it would make more sense.
Absolutely. I grew up on a 1/4 acre lot, literally a block from a big reservoir, which is now a park. Back then it was just a derelict reservoir, but I still rode my bike around it. High handlebars with a banana seat, 5-speed, purple bike.
There were neighborhoods called the acreage, right? When they first started doing these acreage requirements. I don't know if you're certain states. Florida has neighborhoods called the acreage.
The acres, yeah. Well, they call things. Chances are, if something is called estates, they're not really estates. Stingray, right? Yeah, it's a great bike. Missed that bike.
All right,
well, we gotta go. Right, we're done.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Right.
What time is it? Oh, yep, it's 8:23. So, okay. Everyone, have a fantastic week. Obviously, I will, because look where I am.
I'm glad I ranted. I feel better now. Got it all off my chest.
Good.
It's not enough to just hide behind technology. Having real conversations with your clients, engaging them, digging deeper, understanding who they are and what they want, that goes a long way toward keeping top of mind awareness and doing the best job you can for your clients.